In this video, we are going to get started with Maya and just remembering a few things for modeling. And this is more like a recap modeling, hopefully, to help us have a good strategy to model an object. This is more referring to the specific um, concept of an object like this one, in which you'll see that you have an idea and then a goal to have an object, and of course we need to start from setting up a whole scene in Maya. So just as a reminder, we just need to start and say we're gonna set up our project. So I'm gonna set up my project here under my file set project, and I'm gonna go and look for my location on my drive. So I'm just gonna go look here for my folder specifically where I have my files. So I'm gonna just set it up into my Maya folder, wherever you have it located, and then we're gonna set that folder. It's the first time I'm gonna create this project here, so it's asking me to use workspace or create a workspace. So I'm gonna say create a default workspace, and that sets my folder for my project. Now that project, if I look at that folder right now, that folder, let me just open it up here. That folder is right there in Maya. I have just two folders there for scenes and source images, and actually you need to have all the folders in Maya will need to work in that project. So good idea is to go under File, Project window, and just by opening that project window, you already see the location where the folder is and the project that I already know it is. So by opening, I create all these things here, and I just simply say accept. And when I accept it and I go back, you can see in the folder now all the folders have been created, which make it very nice and good and organized. So from now on, I know all my files will go there. And this for this project. If I were working on another project, I would have another project set up differently in different location. Okay, so everything starts, of course, from the actual design of the object. And you have an object. In this case, I have these pliers that are on this orthographic view, this very precise drawing that shows me the top, the side, and the front view of my object, and of course making sure that all the measurements align correctly and perfectly, and I need to bring those in Maya. So I'm working with Maya 2019 at this point, which is the software that you should be using. So I'm going to create, just by going on the four windows, I'm going to bring those individual views using the different image planes. So an image plane, see, you have not used image planes as a way to bring images into Maya to use them as templates, pretty much. So I have a way to say, in each one of these views, I'm going to say view, I'm going to say image plane. Let me just move my window here to the side for a moment to see if I show it. View, and then image plane, I'm gonna say import image, and that go directly to my source images folder where I have saved my previous views, and I have my front view of my pliers there. I'm gonna say open. So those go there. You can see them here in the perspective view how they are showing up. Now another way of bringing those images or image planes here, I'm going to bring the top view, is by clicking on the little icon that shows a little plane there on top of the little grid. So the same thing, I'm going to go get all those. Those are going to be my top view. I'm going to say open, and you can see them all showing up there. And let me just bring this one down a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to just bring here the side again, click on the icon, and then I'm going to get the side view, and then the three of them come right on top of each other and the center of the world, which is very important for you to model any object. Any object you model has to be modeled on the center of the world. So with this, the best way to work with it is to make sure that they are aligned. And if you were able to create them in Photoshop, or you got them precisely in Photoshop, they should be aligned already. Except for the top view. The top view, there is no way to, it's aligned, but not completely. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to just move some things to the side without moving them, or better, making sure that they're aligned. So I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to move it to the side here, I'm going to grab that guy, I'm going to move it to the back so they're not changing the position, And the only thing that I need to verify is that this one and my top view match, and they don't. So I'm gonna move actually this one here forward a little bit so that I can try to match them the best I can. You know, part of it is eyeballing it a little bit, but it allows me to, and I can, it allows me to kind of see it, and I can just move this guy just to see that this line is aligning here and that line is aligning there, which is kind of the width of that, or the depth better of those pliers. With that, I have my measurement all taken care of, and my image plane is located. I'm going to just bring this one down a tiny bit so I can model my pliers on that grid. So I'm going to just save my file. I'm going to call it save scene. I'm going to save it inside of my scenes folder, which is already there. In case I don't have it there, is because my project wasn't set correctly, but my project is set correctly, so it's going to relocation. So I'm going to call pliers, I'm going to call it 01. Keep an eye on, you know, the little hotkeys that show up here when I'm doing hotkeys. Sometimes I have a tendency of using hotkeys. So that way I got my scene already taken care of for me to model. Okay, so at this point you're all good. You have your original plan. I'm going to hide my grid for a moment just to see them again. So I have all of it there. I can move this one down a tiny bit more if I want to. And now I want to have a precision on how to start. It's kind of like a strategy better, because it's not a matter of just saying, okay, I just model and just getting done with it. No, you have to plan your design. So the first step is you're going to just plan your design. So what do you mean by that? Is that planning my design is saying I'm not going to just start just creating geometry like crazy. No, I want to be conscious of what I need in order to model my object. So it's, I'm going to kind of prepare myself in terms of knowing how much I need to do. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to just go here. You can do it here. You can do it on your own, you know, on a piece of paper or whatever. You print out your orthographic views, whatever. I'm going to do it here just for demonstration purposes. So the first idea is that I'm gonna use actually here from the view menu here on my top view panel. I'm gonna use one of the camera tools, which is the grease pencil tool. The grease pencil tool, it works on most computers. If you have a computer that has a graphics card that is not quite good, or that sometimes doesn't work and gives you junk and doesn't work, but most computers it works. And what it allows you to do is draw on your screen, on your space. So I'm gonna just change a different color so I can draw here. I'm drawing with my mouse, really. I'm not drawing with anything else. When I just click here to make one, that one gets signed on my first frame there. And then I'm gonna just change the color. I'm gonna just use a very kind of visible, something a bit more orangey or reddish, better. Okay, and here comes the deal. So every model for objects, this is for objects, every model you create, you're going to try to divide things by parts. So you don't plan to model everything in one piece. You model piece separately. That way your texturing will be a lot easier. So if you think of those pliers saying that this is the middle part, that means that's going to be one piece. The back part of the other side of the plier is the metal piece, and this is going to be a rubbery part. So that's going to be completely separate. So I'm going to start by saying, you know what? I'm going to model these pliers, but I'm going to just model them keeping the simplest and the smallest amount of geometries. I'm going to just draw, let's say for example here, I'm going to start from a block somewhere here, right? And then that block is going to be reduced somewhere here. So I'm going to just reduce amount of geometry. I'm planning pretty much geometry. Another piece there, another piece there, and probably another piece there inside. Forgive my drawing, I'm drawing with my mouse, so it's not that pretty, but and then same thing here. I'm going to just need to tip it down. I'm going to just do now one here, another extrusion there, another one there, and another one there. So this gives me an idea for how many subdivisions I have. The purpose with this is that I'm not going to be extruding every single time I think I could. No, I'm trying to get, a sense of, the minimum amount of geometry. This is going to be a polygon pretty much. If I had a curve, let's pretend that I had an object that was very curved like that, and let's pretend the pliers were like that. I would probably need more subdivisions to be able to create that curvature. So I will have to do more polygons for that. In this case, it's a very, very smooth curve, but not that drastic, so I can keep it low. And this is my first approach to it. Let me just erase this one because this one doesn't make sense. So I'm going to do my first modeling based on, and that's, I'm going to just go back to my fourth window view. You cannot move this window. If you move this window, let's say if you try to move it like this, like this, keep clicking on the wrong ones. If I try to move it like that, I'm holding my Alt key. You lose your location, so you don't want to move it. Once you draw it, you have it locked. One extra thing before I can move on to start modeling is that notice how I didn't move beyond this point. I kind of did it up to here because whatever is inside of the other rubber part is not going to be seen, so no need to model it. So why bother? Why spending geometry memory? Actually, I could probably copy it right just here. Alright, so I'm gonna go now and do my model. I'm gonna keep my views, that one my views. I'm actually gonna model here in perspective, but keeping that one in mind. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split my screen in two. I'm gonna say this one is going to be my top view. Oh, I messed up. Hold on. Sorry, for a moment I thought I lost my drawing, but no, I didn't. So again, I called my top view here. And if you lose your drawing, you just need to move to your timeline, and then it'll come back. The key thing is not to erase it, or not to just erase it like that. Okay, so I'm going to hide my grid for a moment so I can see what I have. And this one is going to be my perspective view. Again, those two panels came like that from this format that's here. I just can change, if I can change whatever I have. Perspective is perfect here. So I'm going to start modeling from a cube. So the best way, to recommended way for modeling usually is from a cube. There are other techniques, but I like using a cube always. So I start with a cube. That cube is right there, and I'm just going to move it and try to place it where it makes some more sense to me, which is kind of like there. For some reason, I feel more comfortable modeling it, being kind of the center. I always start from the center of the piece. Let me move this one back in place in case I need to. So I'm gonna just go, and before I'm just gonna kind of stretch this one a little bit here. Oh, didn't track it. Well, forgive me, I moved the camera by accident. Okay, so I want to move this cube to have it sort of like that, kind of roughly placed on my first sketch. And I can use here my X-ray, on the shading X-ray, that way I can see through and I can see the model there on my drawing. And I'm going to, for a moment, I'm going to go to 4 windows so I can still see that one, because in this one, in the front view, I'm going to make that thing as thick as what it needs to be. This one I can get closer. The one that I cannot move is that one, at least for now, until I get its shape. So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to start extruding my object in that direction. So let me go back to the two panels, and then this one is going to be again the top view. There it is. You kind of loses it, but as you move, it is right there. It's just showing the X-ray. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to start extruding. So I'm going to just click on this face, and that comes with the next step of my strategy. The next step of my strategy is using the tools that you know following the low poly design. So here it is, follow using the low poly count, right? And using the tools, the basic tools that you know. In this case, extrusion. Extrusion is the strongest tool. I use pretty much 3 tools. There are many more that we get to use more, but to start, most of models could be done with 3 tools. So I'm gonna start with extrusion, following that basic design. So I'm gonna extrude here. I'm gonna just say this is my extrusion tool. It's the same as you say here, mesh. Edit mesh, extrude. So I'm gonna extrude that one, and I'm gonna just move it forward here, making sure that it ends there. I'm gonna shrink it this way. I'm gonna move it back, and I got roughly what I wanted. And then I'm gonna just extrude one more time. I'm gonna click on this icon again, extrude. Same thing. I'm gonna extrude it back, extrude it away, and shrink it. And then I'm going to extrude a couple times more, this one, there, shrink it a little bit. And I'm going to do my last extrusion by just moving it and moving it there, shrink it. And I got it here. Notice that I have it there. So if you look at it around, it roughly follows the shape. Yeah, if you hit 3 on the object, it looks like a sausage, but doesn't matter. I don't need that yet. So I'm gonna go back to 1. I'm gonna keep it like that for now. So I'm gonna stop that one, and then I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna extrude the other side so I can get the basic block. I'm gonna extrude those. So this one needs to be like this so I can have that transition there. So I'm gonna just extrude that one again here, and this one has to be shrunk a lot and moved down to match the image there. That kind of roughly does it. Maybe a bit more, maybe move it down a tiny bit. Yeah, keep an eye on that. And then I'm gonna go extrude one more time to get to that one. I'm gonna shrink here, and roughly, it's not rocket science. For now, we're gonna keep it loose. We'll fine tune it in a bit. I'm gonna extrude one more time, and we're just gonna just go this way, move it up a little bit to keep it kind of following the original image. I'm gonna just extrude one more time to kind of end with it at the placement that I wanted to have. There we go. Okay, so now I can go out of here, look at this, and I have my blocked model. The only place that needs to be tied is here, because here there's a big, quick, sharp transition that happens right there. And I'm going to just do a quick little improvement here. This drawing has served its purpose, so I can come here and now I can just delete it. I don't need it anymore. It's just simply a reference for me to keep my model low, just to have my plan. The important thing is my plan. I'm going to move this one down here so I can have a reference point. I'm going to move this one down here. This one's going to go up a tiny bit so that all of those are on the same plane, at least for now. I'm going to have to go back and fine tune it. Alright, so that's my initial concept for blocking it. and extruding it. The key element, keeping it very low res. I'm gonna save my file, and we'll continue with the next one.